No, this is not my 1976 Pontiac Grand Safari. This is my 1976 Pontiac Catalina Safari. Just got this car a few weeks ago. It's very much like my 76 Grand Safari. Of course, the Catalina Safari is the lesser model. I'll go over that. As you people watch my channel may know, my 76 Grand Safari is undergoing a transmission and engine rebuild. And just really missed driving the car, and things got a little slowed up with the transmission rebuild. The guy who was doing it actually broke his leg pretty badly, so everything's kind of been on hold with finishing that project. So I found this for a decent price, actually the same price I paid for my other car. And the catch was it was in the middle of nowhere in Maine. So you can see it's got the Catalina front end there, Catalina grille, the round headlights, as opposed to my Grand Safari's square headlights. Apparently you could have got the square headlights on the Catalina if you optioned for it, but it seems most didn't. So the car is in, obviously, it's not perfect, of course, but it's in much better shape than my Grand Safari. In most ways, however, in other ways, it's, you know, interior-wise, it's not as nice. My interior in the Grand Safari is almost perfect. This is also the 3-seat model. My Grand Safari was not the 3-seat model, it's just a 2-seat model, so it's kind of cool. I'll go over that in a minute. So anyway, you can see the interior is kind of beat up, the little panel's a little cracked there. Has a lot less features, doesn't have the roof rack, doesn't have power windows. Let's see, it does not have air conditioning. It's got much more plain dashboard there, more plain looking door panels. The seats are obviously not as nice, and they're also kind of ripped on the bottom part of the cushion. Instrument cluster is the same pretty much. However, this car has the optional gauge pack, which my Grand Safari does not have. And the reason it has the optional gauge pack is because it has the 455. And my Grand Safari has a 400. Figure that out. I guess they wanted more creature comfort, so they didn't give a shit about power. So it's definitely a noticeable difference between the 400 and the 455 as far as power. Somebody put on this stupid air cleaner. I don't know why. Gonna try and just find another one for that. Regular air cleaner. I don't think sucking hot air in from the engine is such a great idea. So let me show you the rest of the interior here. And I don't think this is pushed back all the way. Yeah, that latches in. So, I mean, you know, interior's not terrible, but, you know, there's a couple holes in the headliner. And okay, so let me take a minute then to talk about the condition of this car. This car has been repainted. It's got, I mean, obviously it appears to be in much better shape, but, you know, it does need, you know, work. Whatever work was done is starting to get old. You know, this sort of rusting there, and you know, there's been some body work, like probably Bondo type work done in places, and I think that this rear metal panel here has actually been replaced. You can see it's painted a slightly different shade. Underneath the car, however, is about the same as mine. Underneath is pretty rust free. Yeah, you can see here, I don't know why this rusted like this, it's kind of odd. You can see over here things are rusting. You know, this looks like it got rubbed a little bit of a crease here, cracked the paint, rusted. Down here, the spare tire well rotted out. Somebody patched it with some jagged metal there. And then this is actually kind of clever. They took a piece of stainless steel, the bumper you can see up here is bumper's, I guess, rotted in the bottom part of it. So they just they wrapped this piece of stainless steel around here, and while the bumper looks like it's, you know, something you'd see on a tow truck, it I guess looks a lot better than just having a big rusty hole. I don't know what the condition of the bumper is under that, but I guess if they had to do this, it was bad enough where you couldn't just cover it up with bumper stickers. So, and then the this car, interestingly, my Grand Safari has the manual tailgate. This car does not. This car has the power tailgate. However, the left hinge had rusted off, so I have to put that back. So this car, being a cheaper car, does not have the carpeted load floor. So, you know, it also has a mechanical defroster vent rather than a electric grid defroster that the my Grand Safari has. So it would have had you know, doesn't have those defroster lines in the glass. This car also came with rear speakers, which my Grand Safari did not have, and somebody added these in, which you can see are in pretty terrible shape. There's an aftermarket radio that somebody hacked into the dash that looks terrible and doesn't work. It's got a, hey, you know, go around and give it a couple reps. It's got an aftermarket exhaust on it. I want to say it's like a Flowmaster or something. It's a big one. Gives it an aggressive sound. Idle, you can hear that. It's pretty... There you go. Cool. So not as nice inside as my Grand Safari, and on the outside it does need work, but on the overall the outside of the car is in much better shape. You know, my car has rotted out. I mean, this car's had some Bondo and stuff fixed on it, but you know, my car has a lot of, you know, the top of the wheel arches are rotted out and stuff like that. So this is, the dog legs are all gone on my car. This needs a lot less body work to, you know, just be a nice driver. I'm not talking restored, you know. Anyway, and I'm sure it'll need all sorts of mechanical work. You know how that goes. But for right now, it actually runs and drives pretty good. Drove it back from Maine to Massachusetts. Had an overheating problem, actually, in Massachusetts. I guess we've been driving for about 3 hours. And the instrument cluster lighting didn't work. Apparently the temperature was climbing up and I didn't know it. And I think what we may have had, and we'll find out, we're just test driving it. What we may have had was a coolant leak from the upper radiator hose. So I think we were slowly losing coolant, and over the course of 180, 175 miles, lost enough coolant to start overheating. That's what these metal things were here. When I drove it from Massachusetts back down to Connecticut, I actually put little battery-powered tea lights in here. So, oh, the car is the trip odometer too. My Grand Safari. I wish I could take this car and my Grand Safari and put them together and make like one really nice car.
Yeah, you could, but then you got.
I could, yeah, but then I got a car that's. One car that's gonna be worth nothing instead of two cars that are worth something. Well, my car, my Grand Safari right now is probably worth nothing. Yeah, see the headliner's a little ripped here. So, and of course the carpet is really shot in this car. So this car is from originally from Massachusetts. It's actually got some paperwork here. Here it is. Let's see. April 1976, Jim Witt Pontiac in Lowell, Mass. And it costs $55.34 out the door. It's pretty cool to have that. Those are the tea lights. Okay. All right. So. Take a ride from the view of the third row seat. Yeah, You know, now that I've driven a 455, I wish I had a 455 to put in my Grand Safari. You know, on paper, they don't list the torque specs. At least none that I was able to ever find. They just list the horsepower difference, and it was like a difference of, I think the 400 was like 180 horsepower, and then the 455 was like a little over 2, I think. And I don't know, it really does make a difference. You can feel it. That exhaust back there?
Much louder.
Yeah. You know, my Grand Safari has air conditioning. That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Not that it works, but it could work. Theoretically. So, that's the Catalina Safari. It's no Grand Safari, but it's a drivable car. And if I'd have realized how enjoyable driving one of these clamshell wagons was, I'd have bought one that was in better shape like this one to begin with. I'll ride in the back. It's a good quality ad.